It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity.
Hello, model citizens. Welcome to Humanity Junction. Tonight, we're going to embark on a little bit of an adventure. As you can see behind me, things are still coming together, and we are still on the benchwork. Things are definitely painted, but there's still a lot of work to do. There's still things to figure out, still problems to solve. So it's an adventure. I've already had a couple of little problems. I actually, I usually don't prep for these live streams, sort of. I prep, but I don't prep. But on this one, I decided to do a little pre-assembly, and I ended up putting one of the legs in the wrong place. So right before the show, I was beating the leg off of where I had put it and moving it because it was just in the way. It was just in the wrong place. I am not done yet. I'm still working on it. My streaming setup is still this mess of a thing that I got going on, and I don't really know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm enjoying the benchwork height, and I'll show you that a little bit more later. But what it ended up doing is it kind of put the streaming computer at this weird place. It's either way too low or way too high. So I'm still dealing with this odd sort of setup that I got going on, but I wanted to do the stream. I wanted to get this going. So how long is it going to take? Well, tonight I got about an hour, and the reason that I have about an hour is because, as we know, second section does their, that was the wrong thing. I meant to do this. Second section does their streams on Tuesday night as well, so I'm going to try and do what I can do in about an hour or less now, because I've already Mr. Pictovid with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. This journey is exciting and fun, but it certainly is not cheap. That's for sure. Norm Miller is actually going to be here Thursday night, Thursday. So I have left some painting for you. There are a lot of painting and things that I need to get done, so you'll be doing it. Yeah, the lighting is messed up. There are just all kinds of obstacles we got going on. No, 22 months? I don't know what you're responding 22 months. Oh, Ray Ron's been a member for 22 months? Yeah. I thought you were saying that, it was going to take me 22 months to build. I hope not. The goal is I'd like to get this built at least to some semblance on by January, by Amherst. There are some people that might be making the trip down to this area, so we'll see if I can actually make that happen or not. Yep, it's counting off the membership. So yeah, Mr. Victovid's been a member for 28 months. Ray Ron's been a member for 22 months. So this is a good time. I'm going to play it now because I keep forgetting to play it. And I actually haven't updated it in a long time because I've been down here doing bench work. But I do need to thank everybody that's been members, especially those that have been members for a long time. But I do also need to thank the people that show up week after week, hit the like button, come hang out with me, put up with my nonsense, and, enjoy the adventure.
It's all about humanity. It's all about humanity. It's all about humanity.
So I switched cameras, and it looks like it's frozen. Why is it frozen? Something is wrong. Something is not what it should be. Oh, it's the camera. Let's go back to this camera for a second. Or actually, you know what we can do? So I've got this other camera here. This is my iPhone. I'm going to do this while I attempt to fix this camera real quick. We should thank you for putting up with nonsense, Don. That is very true. You guys definitely have that. The big white pole behind me, there's a lot of, it's actually a very light gray. It's actually not white. It's all of the Benchwork. So I painted some of it orange to start with, some of it almond to start with as the base coat. But then I've got this light, very light neutral gray, and I wanted that so when I was under the Benchwork, the camera's not turning back on, of course. Of course, the camera that I want to use the whole time is giving me trouble. The Benchwork is a light white because I wanted it to be a color that I could see well underneath the layout. Why do you think, like, and now it turns on. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to try and get this camera going, and then we're going to build. I'll show you through the different pieces that I've got going right now, and hopefully we'll get some semblance of something. Okay, so it's now working. There we go. Let's begin. So you can almost make out, I do have the levelers on some of the feet down here because I will need to level this, as I think Jubb was pointing out. Things are not level at this point. Already no trains running yet. And yes, Cameron, I have learned from Dennis from Otter Creek and Grand that it is always very, very important that you wear your safety shoes. So I am wearing my safety shoes. As this camera probably doesn't do a great job showing, or maybe does do a great job showing, part of the problem that I have when I'm doing things is the room is so small that there's not really room to like move stuff. So I've got 3 sections basically ready to set up to do the bench work, but they're kind of like twisted in the middle of things. So I've got this one here that's going in this corner. This one here needs to be flipped up and around, and it's going against that wall. And then this one, I'm going to swing this around right now, which is going to block the door, and I won't be able to get out in case of a fire. But that one over there goes in that corner as well. So yeah, so this is the one that I put the leg in the wrong place. And the problem that I'm having over here on this side, let me actually switch to this camera. Let's see if it shows it a little bit better or not. Is it showing the right camera? Is it showing this one? Why is it showing? What is it showing? Oh, it's like showing it, but it's like really close. And now it's showing the wrong side. Okay, let's try this again. Let's try this. Yeah, it's going to be one of those shows. So one of the problems that I have in this room is there's a lot of obstacles. I don't know why. Oh, I just figured out what's wrong. Let's fix it. Let's fix it. Let's fix it. There we go. Now we're cooking with gas. So one of the problems with this room is for some reason there is a switch here that actually controls the air conditioner being on or off. And then there's an outlet right there. And it just so happens that they are, of course, in the worst place for the layout height that I'm looking for. And you can kind of see in the little picture, like I'm standing here and my arms are kind of at that kind of neutral height. And the layout's actually going to be about 4 inches taller than this. And it's going to be a great height for operating. But it just means that all of these little things are kind of in the way. And I'm going to have to work around them a little bit, which I'm still working out all of the details of. Hopefully not 23 hours. I hope. I didn't expect to get any work done tonight. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe. All right, so the other thing that I need to do is to get this up against the wall, to get this next piece in, it of course just involves getting rid of things, moving things out of the way. So this is there's some extra wood down here that is for other legs, and I don't know if you can see, but there's a notch here in the corner. The notch is so that I can run cables up in the corner. What I don't know is whether I actually need this space right here. So I don't know if I want to actually cut this out and cut around, make a little box it out to give it a little bit more space, or if I should just leave it where it is. I am definitely going to cut out the backdrop is going to go behind here. I have some masonite, this masonite back here in the corner. It's painted up all pretty and blue. And this is going to be the background color that's going to go behind this. So It's going to give me a little bit of space off the wall, but all right, so the next thing I'm going to use is this clamp here. And I am going to take this piece. Now this piece needs, because I put the one leg on it, so I'm going to try and get that up in the corner. Yeah, the orange wasn't doing a great job of what's the word I'm looking for coverage. It was a little thin, the orange paint. How many legs do I have total? I don't know yet. As minimal as possible. Why did I take it apart to paint it? I had to paint it at all of it. Yes, I'm sure it is code to cover the outlets. You can't see it here. Can you see it? I can show you if I can get this low enough that the outlets won't actually be covered. I moved so this leg used to be in front of this outlet, and that's why I moved it over, was so that I had the space. So once I raise this up a little bit to make it level, you can see I can still get to all 4 of the outlets. But what it does do is it puts it slightly in front of the light switch. So that's kind of the issue there. Yeah, Dennis, you have no idea, although maybe you do, because you do your shows on what is it, on Thursdays, that we all come and harass you. So this is the one that's hard to work with in this space. This is almost the full length of the room, and of course everything's covered up top, so it just takes a little bit to get things in there and get things straight and settled. But that worked. Let's get this out of the way. So I've already got all the, actually let's bring this back. This'll make it easier to see as well. So I've got the bolts already set. I don't know if I'm going to actually bolt it in permanently tonight, because I do still need to be able to get behind it. But this is going to come down here, and this is going to go something like that as well. Now, I'm sure what some of you are saying is, Heath, that does not line up one bit. This guy is higher than this guy. What are you doing? Do you have any idea what you're doing? You've completely lost your mind. Things are, it's just wrong. It's just wrong. You can't say much bad about Dennis's. That is true. Dennis was very helpful with the planning of this bench work. I kind of stole some of his ideas that he did. Took a couple of the mistakes he made and hopefully fixed some of the mistakes. Trexon Mike says, "I'm sure you know what you're doing." So here's the idea. When I put the bench top on this side here, this is going to be ground level. So when it gets over onto this section over here, the track level is going to still be at this height, but the surface of the ground will drop. So this is going to be this section here. Excuse the, I know Dennis just hated that. So this section here is going to be where there will be bridges and some elevations and stuff that I needed the extra height. So that's why that is lower, because that then gives me the extra height to do what I need to do. So I don't know if you can see what I'm doing or not see what I'm doing. I'm probably blocking things. These clamps came in very handy to help line things up. Excuse my head, but I need to get this one guy in up there. Once I get this in, it'll lock this together. When we were first putting this together, I did not have this tool, and it made things very hard to get this together. I was just using a manual C-wrench, so, and it's not catching yet. It's not catching yet. Come on. Come on, catch. Catch. I did paint this after I got this all going, so there might be a little bit of a fight here to get these to lock in, and I do understand that I am missing some comments. How annoying is that ratcheting sound? Something tells me that ratcheting sound might be quite annoying in its own. There we go. Now we're starting to get it. It just wasn't sucking up. There we go. Now we're driving them. Now we're driving them in. I also got, you can maybe see, let's see if I come over this way a little bit. I added some big fender washers just to get a really nice bite on it. And I haven't sucked it up together yet, but I will suck these up nice and tight. And as you can see, that's what this corner is going to look like, essentially, basically. But one thing that you'll notice, if we look at the wide view, and if I come over here and aim this over here, is that the corner, we are short of the corner, right? So there's, what is that, 2.5 inches of space here. And I intentionally left that there because, as we were talking earlier, we all know that the room is not square. So my concern was that if I didn't leave a little bit of leeway into things, that things would end up too tight and not fit. So when Jerry was here, we did actually cut down that back section to make it 2 inches shorter because it was going to be very tight. So let's take a look at some of the questions. Yes, I did lose my mind. Blue smoke. Hopefully there won't be any blue smoke. No duct tape yet. There was a little bit of bubble gum. Yeah, I am currently locked in, but we'll fix that in one second. Are those lag screws or carriage bolts? Neither. They are hex. They're hex bolts. You know, your standard hex bolt with T-nuts. So I decided to use the T-nuts primarily because I wanted that for the legs, because I didn't want bolts sticking out at all on the ends of the legs. So using these T-nuts gives me a flush surface when I put them together. So none of my the fasteners don't stick out to the outside, but if we come around here to the inside, let's see if I can get this to balance here and not fall over. But if we come to the inside, you can see the the head of the hex bolts here. So this here, you can see this connection here. That is going to be for this piece. So this piece is going to go into the corner here like this. But I'm not going to put this piece in until I get the background put in for the rest of it. So that's that plan there. Spare is just a suggestion. Yeah, I have a lot of spare. I have too many. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but I have a lot of spare legs. I estimated for a lot of legs that I don't think I'm going to need. I don't need more power tools. I got plenty of power tools. Heath painted the two pieces where they come together. Yes, I did. The problem with painting the stuff and putting it together now is I'm not leaving enough time for everything to really dry. So like this leg right here, the acrylic paint is going to join that leg together, and I'll have to bang it off with a hammer if I ever do want to remove it. But I wanted to just get this going. No helix. Yes, not lag bolts. Hex bolts and T-nuts. No, it's 100% intentional. I completely there's a gap in this corner and there's a gap in that corner, and they're 100% intentional so that I can get the bench work in here, and then the bench tops will fill in the gaps. So the bench top in this area here will be cut to fit that corner, but I wanted the framing to come short, just like what I did here. I have this slot for wiring. Over in that corner as well, I'm going to have a slot for wiring. And then in this corner over here, when Jerry was here, he actually had the idea of let's notch it, because there's another outlet in that corner there. So this notch is going to go around another outlet and give me room for the wiring and stuff over there now. But this whole thing is now standing with 3 legs. So I will add more legs, just probably not right away. Carriage bolts. Yeah, I didn't want the round head on the outside. I do have plenty of extra legs. It will not be bolted to the wall. Once I get this locked in with this other part, it's not going anywhere. There's not going to be any way for it to fall apart. Better loosen. Did he say T-nuts or D's nuts? I said T-nuts. Something I stand with 3 legs also. Yeah, it depends. It depends. So this last piece, I'm going to slide these over because we need to get some of this stuff out of the way. I thought I was going to need these extra legs, so I had left these out. I don't know if anybody's noticed it, but if we turn around this way, you can see. So this side, I have all of my tops for all the different sections sitting right here, and this is where the yard is going. So this side of the room basically isn't painted. So I'm going to get all the bench work in on this side. I'm going to get the backdrops in on this side, and then I am going to move what's over here over to this side, and I will then take this this side apart to paint it and do it. Mac, I don't think I am going to use any foam or any cork. I think I'm going straight to the wood. The reason being is that this is a switching layout, so there will not be any just sort of like continuous running trains, so I won't have to worry about the noise. And the noise of N-scale as it isn't very loud, so I'm I'm not worried about it really. If you notice right here, there's no holes on this side, unlike the other side. So this other side is all bolted together. But because of this gap here, I don't know exactly where this section is going to go yet. And I just realized, oh, let's move the fire extinguisher out of the way. See, fire extinguisher for those that worry. And then I should go to slide this, and of course I've got a pile of stuff here on the ground that is taking up too much space. And this is what working in a small space is like sometimes. I've got this on wheels, so we can roll that way, and we'll slide all of this over as I almost knocked the thing on my head. Okay, let's try this again. So this piece is going to go here. Again, I don't know if you can see it, but I've got a light switch that's going to be in the way. I also have switch cameras for a second. So over here in the corner, there's another light switch that I have to contend with. The reason I need to cut out for the light switches is I use something called SwitchBot. This allows me to turn on and off the switches without having to replace the switch, but because it protrudes, I'll need to deal with that. And then this down here is preventing me from getting this in there as well. This is a cable. It's an HDMI cable that runs around to the computer so that I can use it when I need to. But you'll notice, maybe you won't notice, I keep saying that. Let's see. What is trackside mic doing? Loud enough to name it. What are we having a party? I'm curious why the estimation of legs. So you can figure out the legs and you can say, I'm going to put a leg in every corner. But when I worked out the Benchwork, I got turned on to a book called, Dennis, what's the book called? Dennis turned me on to a book that is called like Model Railroading Benchwork by Lynn Westcott. And that book talked about how long of a span you can have that is unsupported. So from that book, it was determined that essentially about half this span is fine. So I am going to add additional legs, but I'm going to still try and keep as few legs as possible. These rolling carts that are here, you can probably tell they're just low enough to get under the bench, and the intention is to have not a lot of legs so that these can all slide under the Benchwork. On the other side, there is a 2-inch difference in height. On this side here, there's only a 1-inch difference in height. And this is because, while on the other side, there is going to be, the side over here is going to have bridges and stuff. This is where the car float's going to go, so that extra inch just gives me a little bit of extra space for the water scene. So this is essentially, I don't know what time it is. Oh, it's only 8:30. How did I get through all this quickly? I guess because I pre-built it. But this is essentially what it's going to look like. The Benchwork itself, the tops are going to cover it up. The bench tops are not going to sit directly on the Benchwork. There's going to be risers that step it off. I'm going to need to install additional cross, whatever they're called, to put the risers on top of. I did just want to adjust the camera so you can see. Here's the gap in the corner, and the backdrop will just go around it. The bench top will go around it. You'll never even see that corner once it's all there. It is pretty heavily built. Andy's checking in from China. I hope everything is well. Yes, that is a very red door. Very red door. Sorry, it's too short. Are you saying the bench work is too short? Yeah, JD, I had to wear my safety shoes. It's very important. As well. That book is the best book ever done. It covers everything. Yeah, and I got a lot of tips from that book. This benchwork probably took me about 2 months to kind of design because I kept changing things. But, you know. I did not check the floor before starting. My theory on that is that I am not going to worry about level until I get the bench tops on. Once I get the bench tops on, then I'll find the highest point in the room, and I will build off of that. I think, I'm 99% sure that the perimeter around the wall is the high point. I think once you come in off the walls, it starts coming down by like a 1/16 or a 32nd of an inch. But, you know, all the legs have levelers, so we're good. We're good to go there. Can the bench support a 200-pound man? Yes, but probably I wouldn't try it. I don't know why you would necessarily need to. But yeah, I mean, it probably would. The highest point in the room is the ceiling. Oh boy. Container man, I don't think we're going to try that, but James will be able to stand on it and sleep really good, support 40 legs. Yeah, so I'm probably going to go, I'm not going to go 8 feet without legs. I plan on, the legs that I have now currently are all, let's see, they're all L-shaped legs. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have some internal legs in here, but that aren't L's, that are just, I'm going to make an H shape that goes from the front to the back. The other reason I haven't put more legs in yet is that I need to figure out where all my cross pieces are going. And I won't know where the cross pieces are going until I figure out exactly where the layout's going. I think if people saw the pictures, I do have the layout printed out, so I can just roll the layout out and figure out where it's all going. And of course, it's been rolled up for a while, so it's going to give me a little bit of trouble right now, but let's see. Let's move this underneath. And it's not high enough. It's okay. It'll stay. Hopefully it'll stay. So I need to make a couple little adjustments on this to figure out exactly where all of the switch motors and everything are going to go. But this did not work out as well as I had hoped it would. Well, that didn't work. The bench tops, as I mentioned, are on that side of the room, and I need to get some more stuff done before I get that all settled in. Ralph says, I don't understand why your layout is so narrow. It does not have to follow the track plan. You could have extra. You do realize that. So, the bench work here is 12 inches deep. But if you look at this piece of paper, so the bench work is 12 inches. but you can see the paper actually hangs over, and it hangs over by 2 inches. That doesn't really show you very well. Let's see, does that show you any better? So the bench tops are bigger than the frames. So the frame is 12 inches. This section is 14 inches. This bench on this side is 12 inches, but the bench top is 15 inches. So the layout is wider than the frames. Part of the reason for that is on this side that you are looking at right now, there is going to be a subway track that runs, that basically one stop will be here, it'll disappear, it'll come all the way around here, and then there'll be another subway stop over on this side. So I intentionally built the benchwork 2 inches shorter than my bench tops so that I could hide my subway train behind the fascia of the behind the fascia. So there was that. And the other reason I made it so narrow is because I didn't want it any deeper. This piece of benchwork is 16 inches, and the bench top here is going to come out actually to 19 inches. So it's actually 3 inches over. There it's 12 and 15, so it's got a 3-inch overhang. This section here is 12 inches or so wide, but this side is going to be cookie cutter because this side's going to be all up on bridges and stuff like that. So the benchwork and the size of it will all be hidden, and the tracks will all be up on sort of decorative elements. And then this piece is so small because the window is right here, and I wanted as little obstacles, as few obstacles to get to the window. So I made the benchwork really narrow there as well, so that I could get to the window as needed. How deep are the drawers below? With what you're saying, how will you do the fascia? So as I mentioned, the subway track that comes around here is going to be on 3/4 inch plywood. The bench top is on 3/4 inch plywood. The fascia is going to attach on the... This is where it gets into, like, I've planned it all out. And bear with me on the math, but the math works. This here is 3 inches high. On top of this, I'm going to have... Oh, I just realized the math doesn't work out. I'm 3/4 short. Well, there you go. The math doesn't work out. This is 3 inches high. The bench top is going to be on 2-inch risers. So that's 3 inches, a 2-inch riser, and then the 3/4 inch top. And that's where I screwed up the math. See, I thought I did the math right. So the subway is going to be somewhere within this 3-inch piece here, and my fascia is going to be 5 inches tall. So the fascia is now going to be 3/4 inches too low, which means I will need to put the subway, the height of the subway, 3/4 of an inch above the bottom of this frame, which will be fine, because then I have 2 inches and then the fascia. So the fascia is going to curve in the corner here, and the, you know, where the train curves, and I'll, you know, off the 2-inch riser. So I have 5 3/4 here, and I made the fascia 5 inches high, so you'll see a little bit at the bottom because I can't do math. Yep. Apparently I did the math and I did it wrong. The calculator in my head. But yes, it's not rocket science, but I did try and I did try and plan it all out. See, the great thing about doing stuff on YouTube is everybody's going to tell you why it's wrong without knowing why you made the choice. So Ralph is saying my bench top is too thick, but Ralph doesn't know why I made the bench top 3/4 of an inch. So I get the feedback. I've heard the feedback. In my opinion, a great approach might be, wow, 3/4 seems like a pretty beefy benchwork. Did you have some reasons as to why you might have gone with 3/4 inch benchwork instead of like half or something thinner? Because I did choose to go with 3/4 inch bench tops for a very specific reason. But that is kind of that's kind of the way it is. So yes, a little. What are we talking about? Yeah, I forgot the thickness of the benchwork. It'll be okay though, because all I'll do is I'll just put the so this is 2 inches wide. Once I put the subway out here 2 inches, and this is 3/4 of an inch up, at the angle you're standing, you're not going to see that this lower edge is there. I do have some sections where the fascia is 10 inches, and that's so that I could cut it to adjust for this side, where this is much lower. But yeah, on this side I only did 5 inches, but it's still gonna look good. I'm convinced of it. And it's gonna be dark colored anyway, so you're not gonna see it. Ooh, I like Triflow. I do. Don't worry, Heath, you worry too much. Yeah, I think about it. I think about it a lot. 3/4 inches is the same as steel. I hope so. Because of how I'm intending to use it, I definitely think so. Ralph says 5/8 max or it's a waste of money. Still, hasn't asked the question, why did you go with 3/4 inch plywood? Brass steam end gauge. I don't have any brass steam. I do have, I think, 2 brass locomotives, but neither are steam. Subway tracks, I'm only going to have 1 subway track. I didn't want to get overly complicated with the subway. Some people think I shouldn't have the subway. Adding the subway is a little bit complicated because it makes it much harder to add the fascia onto the layout, because essentially the subway gets in the way of adding the fascia, and it means that trying to mount anything to the fascia becomes a problem, because I've got that gap anyway. So yeah. So I don't know. Too funny. What's one of my problems? So the other thing that I'm having on my layout is over here on this side, I'm going to have the number 1 train has a power station that was built in 1904 that looks, in my opinion, really interesting. And my plan is to model that power station, and it is going to be what hides the staging tracks on this side of the layout. So I just thought it was a really cool, interesting detail that I'm going to add on onto everything. But yeah, print some criminals for the subway. There are no criminals in the subway. There's criminals everywhere. I think it's funny. Anyway, this is going downhill fast.